17 signs you are a Canadian. Canada is a vast country filled with amazing destinations. It boasts famous landmarks, incredible culture, historical wonders, etc. Do you know that being Canadian is so much fun? Canadians happen to be one of the nicest people in the world. It's pretty awesome. These are 17 signs you are a true Canadian. Number 1. You are proud of the maple leaf. As the maple saps start flowing in spring, it brings new life to the people with a touch of ambrosia. They know that the days of cold and dark of the winter months are going to end, and they will not exhaust their food reserves. Besides this, the maple leaf stands as a great symbol of Canadian identity. It is incorporated into the national flag, and that makes every Canadian proud. You can see the dynamic design of the maple leaf books, gold coins, banners, and many other items. Canadians swell in pride as they see the maple leaf. They love to fly it and think Canada is the best country in the world. Number 2. You love Tim Hortons like anything. Canadians love Tim Hortons. Every Canadian outside Canada suffers from Tim Hortons withdrawal. It is their first stop on their way home from the airport when they return to Canada after visiting a foreign country. It is because Tim Hortons happens to be a cultural staple of Canada. Canadians also take their foreign friends to Tim Hortons first and order a double-double, which means 2 creams and 2 sugars. They wait for the reaction of the visitor after their first sip and get irritated when foreigners say it is just a coffee. A true Canadian downloads the Tim Hortons app while on a road trip. Number 3. You are not Americans. Nothing makes Canadians more annoyed than calling them an American. While it is easy to mistake them for Americans due to similar accents and cultures, Canadians take it personally when someone fails to recognize them as Canadians. They maintain that people should be able to spot them because of their nice mannerisms. When someone asks about Canada, they go to comparatives like we are nicer, colder, and have free healthcare. Despite the fact that they watch American TV and use American goods, still, they insist that they are visibly different from Americans. Number 4. You have your way of giving directions. Plenty of beer, wine, and liquor stores are there in every Canadian locality. It developed a typical Canadian habit of using the beer and liquor stores as landmarks. Ask a Canadian about any place, they will reply, "Go to that wine shop and turn right, you will find it there." Distance also meant something different for Canadians. While distance means how far a particular place is from the present position and is measured in kilometers, miles, meters, etc., Canadians have a different notion about distance. They always measure distance in terms of time. If you ask anyone where they live, the reply will be, "It is about an hour's drive from here." Is that true for you? Number 5. You love to talk about the weather. Canada witnesses a wide variation of seasons and temperatures. Daytime temperatures in Canadian summertime can go up to 35 degrees Celsius and above. During winter, it might go as low as -35 degrees Celsius. Canadians have plenty to talk about the weather for this reason, and they start and end their conversations with the weather. One thing is sure, Canadians always have something to complain about the weather, even though they know that it is the winter season. They would say it's a sunny winter day, God help us if it rains in winter, and like that. Number 6. You have some reservations about the metric system. Canada started converting to the metric system in the 1970s. Still, you can find the use of the imperial system in several sectors of Canadian everyday life and economy. It is mainly due to the historical ties with the United Kingdom. While Canadians make fun of Americans for not following the metric system, Canadians are yet to fully convert them. The use of feet and pounds is common to denote height and weight in Canada. There seems to be no intention of full conversion to the metric system. Number 7. You know Canadian chocolate is the best. Canada boasts the best chocolate in the world as chocolate bars. They are not candy bars. Americans have their Nestle and the British have their Cadbury Chocolate Company, but Americans have no idea about the goodness of dairy milk, caramel, etc. Staying in the middle ground, Canadian chocolates have all the good things. They grow up with every chocolate bar you can imagine, tasting exclusive Canadian brands like Coffee Crisp, Crispy Crunch, Jersey Milk, and Wonder Bars. Number 8. You get shocked to see cereal boxes in English only. As laid down in the Official Languages Act of 1967, English and French are the official languages of Canada. Accordingly, all labels in Canada, from soups to shampoos, are written in both French and English. The Canadian kids learn French by reading the backside of the cereal box. They learn the French words for honey, sugar, and free from there only. Most Canadians get surprised when they see cereal boxes in English only. Labels in English and Spanish almost stop their heartbeat. Number 9. You can solve all problems with some coffee and snow boots. Canadians are coffee lovers. Canada has Tim Hortons, an almost ubiquitous coffee chain. It has become a part of the Canadian culture like hockey and maple syrup. If Canadians have a pair of snow boots and some coffee, they can accept any challenge. Coffee inspires them even when they are working around the ridge of snow at the end of the driveway. Number 10. You say "eh." You hardly know why you always say "eh," but you have this habit. This interjection is a beautiful pointer to Canadian habits and gives Canadian English a distinguished identity from other dialects. It has gone out of your control. You use it for different meanings like "excuse me," giving consent, etc., but you use it as a true Canadian. Number 11. You are comfortable with homo milk. If someone from outside Canada visits any grocery store in Canada, they would find homo milk everywhere. It means homogenized milk with a 3.25% fat content. It is an acceptable type of milk in Canada, and it is normal for your spouse to ask you to pick homo milk on the way back home. Moms also say that their kids like homo milk. Number 12. You say beaver tails are delicious. It will surprise anyone from outside Canada. They would probably think that Canadians love the large fat tails of these unique amphibious rodents. Beaver Tails happens to be a Canadian restaurant chain. They specialize in pastries known as beaver tails. These are fried dough pastries that are stretched to look like beaver's tails. It is topped with syrup, ice cream, fruits, and other savory ingredients to make it delicious. What fun! Number 13. You say sorry even when you have not done anything wrong. While this is slightly over-exaggerated, Canadians do believe in being nice and polite to everyone. These are embedded in Canadian culture. Canadians, as a result, have such an apologetic character that the term sorry has almost lost its true meaning and become an involuntary response to a situation even if it is not necessary. Whether it is opening the door to a stranger while commuting to the workplace or giving support to a family, Canadians always demonstrate their empathy and authenticity. Number 14. You have rolled up the rim to win. Ask any Canadian if they have rolled up the rim, they will always say yes and baffle you. There is nothing naughty in the phrase. It is a contest promoted by Tim Hortons, a Canadian coffee and donut chain of restaurants. When people finish their coffee, tea, etc., they pop the lid off and roll up the pre-cut section of the rim of the cup. It reveals the prize they have won. Or in most cases, the prizes they didn't win. I've lost count of how many times I've seen "please play again" in these cups. Oh my goodness! Number 15. You brag about Canadian cold. Canada without cold is a foreign place. Once again, it is slightly exaggerated as our summers can have just as extreme heat depending on where in Canada you live, but our winters, especially further north, are why Canadians always brag about the Canadian cold. They do not believe that any place outside Canada could be cold. Everybody has their own story. Some would say their uncle instantly froze to death at the doorstep as he was not wearing proper clothes. Number 16. You love poutine. It is the nectar for all Canadians, and they get irritated when someone asks what poutine is. Canadians pity those who have not tasted this delicious dish made of French fries with cheese curds and gravy. It is the nectar of Canadian life and the ultimate comfort food. Number 17. You recognize diversity as a strength. Canada has a multicultural society even before the integration of multiculturalism into Canadian law in the 1980s. Because of this, Canadians value different perspectives brought by individuals of diverse backgrounds in every sphere of life and work. Generation after generation, Canadian children get accustomed to hearing different languages on the playground. They believe that diversity made the country true north, strong, and free. The above is a compilation of some of the Canadian traits. Being Canadian is a challenge, especially in the winter. Canada has enormous diversity, which is reflected in the family and social life of Canadians. They are cheerful, environmentally conscious, liberal, and generous people, always ready to help others. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and turn on the notification bell.